All right, you guys. So today we are going to get a look at something a bit different here today. We are going to get a look at the Galactic Heroes Ghost. We're also going to get a look at the Hasbro Scout Bomber, Y Bomber there. So we're going to get a look at these two items really quickly here today. We're even going to skip the box examination. We usually examine the box for each item. We're not going to do that here today. But I do want to point out that the Galactic Heroes box does provide you with a very, very cool backdrop of an Imperial docking bay. So very, very cool and awesome. Now, I've had a couple of people ask me, what do the 3 1/4 size figures, how do they compare in size and scale to the Ghost here? And as you guys can see, it's obviously out of scale, no doubt about it, but not terribly bad, I would say. I mean, I'm not looking at it here. I'm not opposed to having this on the shelf looking like this, even though it is obviously out of scale. But very cool and awesome, guys. So we're going to get a look at the Ghost itself and all of its features. So let's go ahead and get started. And then, of course, we will also get to the Y Scout Bomber. All right, you guys. So the other thing I forgot to mention here, guys, is you do get your Ezra and Chopper figures that come complete in the set there. And they are standing right next to their counterparts, their 3 1/4 size counterparts there off to the side. So there's a little comparison for you guys, and we will get a closer look at that. But of course, we obviously want to get a look at the main feature of this particular review, which is going to be our Galactic Heroes Ghost. So very cool and awesome. So let's go ahead and get that closer look. All right, you guys. So getting us a look at the Ghost, the Galactic Heroes Ghost. Very, very cool looking vehicle, guys, actually, given the fact that it is Galactic Heroes. Now, the only reason why I say that is this is actually the first piece that I've actually picked up from Galactic Heroes, only because it is a bit cartoony, but obviously this is from a cartoon, so it should make sense that it is in a cartoony fashion, but I really like to get mine as close to the real thing as possible, and so that's why I kind of hesitated to pick this up. But obviously at the moment, this is the only manufacturer brand version of this ship. There's a couple of guys who make a custom version of this ship that is to scale with your 3 1/4 size figure. Hopefully one day I'll get the funds together and get a very nice scaled custom of the Ghost, but at the moment this will have to do. So very cool ship, and it has a lot of cool features, guys. You have your top turret gun here that is articulated and does spin around and moves around. You also have your arm there, very, very cool and awesome. It is also articulated and moves all the way around 360, and also it does also have a working clamp as well. So very cool and awesome. The ship opens up as well, and we will get a look at that. I'm getting you a look on the inside. Very cool and awesome. There's two levers underneath, guys, there that allow the pegs to spin right there, and the other lever's right there, so they both spin. And then of course you have the arm that can also go in the centerpiece. You have two platforms right there where you can put your figures, and we will see if the 3 1/4 size figures fit on those platforms and how they'll look inside the vehicle. You also have on the inside cockpit there for the Ghost, and you can fit one 3 1/4 size figure in there. I did do so on my diorama for the Yavin 4 base. Hera does fit on the inside, so that's absolutely cool. And then of course you also have a peg on this side. Now it is not movable, but you do have somewhere to put an additional figure if you want to. And then on the inside you have your docking bay for the Phantom, and I'm going to try and get you guys a good look. We'll actually get a better look from the back side there, but there's a kind of a look on the inside. So that's where the people would enter after docking the Phantom with the Ghost. And there is a Phantom that is available to go with this vehicle, and I will be picking it up at some point so I can have it with this vehicle. So we will look into getting that and reviewing that when that particular time comes. All right, guys, and then getting you a look on the back side. The two engine departments open up, and then of course, so you have the full docking bay for the Phantom right there. Really cool and awesome. And then of course you see the back of Hera's chair right there. So that's really cool and awesome for a kind of a cartoonish looking vehicle, but you get a lot of very cool features. But of course we want to see how our 3 1/4 size figures fit with this vehicle, so let's get a look at that. Guys, so as you can see, Hera does fit in there very nicely. The 3 1/4 size Hera fits in there very, very nicely with the cockpit door closed. But to open it up and get you guys a better look at her, there she is on the inside. Very cool and awesome. Your 3 1/4 size Hera does fit on the inside really nicely. There's lots of room, and you can close her up in there like so, and she fits in there really, really nicely and very, very cool. All right, you guys, so as you can see, we have all of the figures here on the inside. Very cool. Again, Hera does fit nicely in the cockpit. You also have Kanan and Ezra on the other side, kind of practicing with their sabers. You have Zeb on one of the platforms and Sabine on the other. Chopper there on the middle. You have a whole other side of the Ghost where there is a additional peg to put an additional figure. And then of course there is some more room to put other stuff on the inside. So it's lots of space in this vehicle, even using your 3 1/4 size figures. Even though the figures are a bit out of scale for the vehicle, it is still very cool and makes for a very nice setting if you're going to put this on your shelf or desktop or what have you. So of course, guys, there are a couple of other features on the Ghost here. Obviously, this part is removable, so you can take it out. As you guys can see, it is very cool, kind of converts into like a mini tank or whatnot. And again, your 3 1/4 size figure fits very, very well on the inside. You guys can get a better look at the controls and whatnot. Now, unfortunately, you can't get her hands on the controls on here. That would be the only problem with using a 3 1/4 size figure in here, but she definitely fits on the inside. So it's not a perfect fit, but it does serve some purpose. Now, of course, these are functioning weapons, and we'll get a look at the functioning weapons. And then, of course, the top turret gun also has functioning weapons as well. So really, really cool and very, very awesome. Very, very awesome vehicle from Galactic Heroes. All right, guys, and getting you a look at the Y-Wing Scout Bomber. Very cool from Hasbro, 3 1/4 size. Smaller version of the Y-Wing Bomber, as you guys well know. But very cool, and I'm very glad I picked this vehicle up, even though I did get it at a very, very good discount. Again, this is one of the last purchases that I received from Toys R Us during the final days of their liquidation, and I believe I picked this up for maybe about $4 or $5. I forget exactly what the discount was, but it was like down to 80%. And I was able to pick up this, and not only this, but a couple of other vehicles as well. So very cool looking vehicle, very nice detail. You have the articulated guns on this vehicle that move from side to side. They actually spin all the way around, but in order to do that, you have to get the you have to lift this open to get it all the way around. And then it also comes complete with Kanan, who comes with the pilot's headset for this version of Kanan, so that's also cool. Of course, you have Chopper sitting in the back with his rotating gun that goes from side to side. It is limited. It doesn't go all the way around, but it does go about, I'd say about almost a quarter of the way around in the back. But very cool and very awesome. And then you have Chopper. You can move his head and what have you on the inside. Now, guys, what's really funny is I used the Galactic Heroes chopper on the inside of the Y Scout Bomber for my diorama for the Yavin 4 base. And then, of course, I used the 3 1/4 size chopper for other parts of that diorama. And it seems to me that this particular Galactic Heroes fits much better in the Y-Wing Bomber than the 3 1/4 size figure. This head sticks out more. You can actually see the eyes when you have the canopy locked down, closed down. So as you guys can see, you get a little bit of Chopper's eyes right there, a little bit, but you know, barely over the rim. But with this particular guy, his head, this portion of his head sticks out a lot more, and you can get a good look at Chopper. So as you guys can see, my Galactic Heroes Chopper sits very nicely on the backside and looks much better than the 3 1/4 size because he has a much larger head, a fatter head, and you know, he is more visible with the canopy locked down. Now, he is a tight fit in there due to the bottom portion, his legs. They're like big blocks and they barely fit in. But you can, if you kind of squeeze him in there a little bit gently, you can get him in there without damaging the vehicle, and he can sit in there really nicely. I think I'm going to keep him in here in this vehicle because he fits so much better than the 3 1/4 size chopper, and of course I can use the other chopper for other things as dioramas and whatnot. So really cool and very awesome. Very glad that I picked up the Galactic Heroes version because it helps out with this particular vehicle. And then of course my 3 1/4 size figures go pretty decently with the Galactic Heroes Ghost. So the other thing that I wanted to show you guys here on the vehicle is that the engines themselves are articulated, so you can actually bring them down if you need to, which is really cool and awesome. Gives the Scout Bomber a different look, also a different function. It could possibly hold itself in place if it needed to, which is something I did not know about the Scout Bomber, so that's really awesome. So that is really cool and a very nice feature for this vehicle. Welcome surprise for that for this vehicle. I didn't even know that those were articulated. You have the bombs, guys, that are found underneath the vehicle there. Let's look at the bottom side, and there's the bombs there. As you're flying by, you can drop bombs. So that's really cool. So when it's all said and done, I have to say I am really truly impressed with this vehicle. Yes, it may be a bit cartoonish, but it is absolutely awesome. And again, I think it does fairly decently with your 3 1/4 size figures, depending on what your perspective is. But very cool. And then of course the Scout Bomber, also a very cool vehicle, very awesome. Very glad that I was able to switch out the Galactic Heroes chopper as opposed to the 3 1/4 size chopper there, because again, I didn't want to I can utilize both choppers, so that's really cool. Of course, this version of Galactic Heroes Ezra will probably find some place on the shelf somewhere, not so much with the ship here, but that's quite all right. See, we have our Jedis dueling, so really enjoy this set, guys. I think it is very awesome, well worth the $30 price tag. I can vouch for that. I will say that. But of course, if you can get this a little bit cheaper, then you're getting a steal, guys. So really cool. And same for the Scout Bomber. I was fortunate to get it at a really cool price, but I think it is definitely worth the retail cost. But of course, I would like to know what your thoughts are. Put those comments down below. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Rebels Ghost ship, may the Force be with you always.